Shalom, my Hebrews and Shebrews, oilfield disciple this beautiful morning. Uh, Getting ready to do our daily bread of day number 16, being Genesis chapter 16, Matthew 16, Psalm 17, and Proverbs number 1, chapter 1. I don't know what happened yesterday with the prophets, hanging with the prophets. I could not get that video to upload. It kept saying error. So we'll try it again this evening after I make this video. Uh, we'll try the prophets again. So I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Anyway, welcome to the channel where we just read the scriptures. I will give slight commentary as I feel utterance from the Spirit to give. If you are new to the channel, if not, you know the drill. Let's get to Genesis, which is Bereshit. We'll turn to chapter 16. Genesis chapter 16. Let me flip the camera around. Yep, I'm back at the fort. Doesn't seem like the traffic is as bad this morning as it was um, the other day, but still quite a bit of traffic. This is a fairly short chapter. Yesterday we'd read where Abram had been given the covenant from Yahweh, and so today let us read. Verse 1 says, "And Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no child, and she had a Mitzrite female servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, See, Yahweh has kept me from bearing children. Please go into my female servant. It might be that I am built up by her." And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her female servant, the Mitzrite, which is an Egyptian woman, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. After Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said to Abram, My wrong be upon you. I gave my female servant into your bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Let Yahweh judge between you and me. And Abram said to Sarai, See, your female servant is in your hand. Do to her what is good in your eyes. And Sarai treated her harshly, and she fled from her presence. And the messenger of Yahweh found her by the spring of the water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's female servant, where have you come from, and where are you going? And she said, I am fleeing from the presence of Sarai, my mistress. And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, Return to your mistress, and humble yourself unto her hand. And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, I am going to increase your seed greatly, too numerous to be counted. And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, See, you are conceiving and bearing a son, and shall call his name Yishmael, or Ishmael, because Yahweh has heard your affliction. And he is to be a wild man, his hand against everyone, and against everyone's hand against him, and dwell over against all his brothers. And she called the name of Yahweh, who spoke to her. You are the El who sees, for she said, Even here have I seen after him who sees me. That is why the well was called Ber Lahai Roi. See, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Jealousy and pride and conceit. There's a whole lot of teaching there that one of these days I pray that Yahweh will will lead me to teach on that. But for now, let us read Psalms chapter 17. Hear righteousness, Yahweh, and listen to me cry. Give ear to my prayer from lips without deceit. Let my right ruling go out from your presence. Let your eyes see what is straight. You have examined my heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me. You find I have not schemed. My mouth would not transgress. As for the deeds of men, by the word of your lips, I have kept myself from the paths of the destroyer. My steps have held fast to your paths, and my feet have not slipped. I have called upon you, for you answer me, O El. Incline your ear to me, hear my speech. Let your loving commitment be distinguished. You who save by your right hand those who take refuge from those who rise up. Guard me as the apple of your eye, and hide me under the shadow of your wings. From the face of the wrong who ravage me, from my deadly enemies who surround me. They are enclosed in their own fat. They speak proudly with their mouths. They They have now surrounded us in our steps, and they have set their eyes to cast us to the ground, like a lion who's eager to tear his prey, and a young lion crouching in cover. Arise, O Yahweh, and confront him. Cause him to bend. Deliver my being from the wrong by your sword, from men by your hand, O Yahweh, from men of the world whose portion is in this life, and you fill their bellies with their treasure. They are satisfied with children, and shall leave their riches to their babes. As for me, let me see your face in righteousness, and I am satisfied to see your appearance when I awake. Proverbs chapter 1. Mishle chapter 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, sovereign of Israel. For knowing wisdom and discipline, for understanding the words of understanding, for receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right ruling, and straightness, for giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel. For understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother, for they are a fair wreath on your head, and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause, and let us swallow them alike like Sheol, and entirely like those going down to the pit. Let us find all precious goods, and let us fill our houses with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. That's part of being set apart, as we are called to be. That's what the world, right there, if you look all that up, that is basically what this world today considers achievement, achievement of goals and success. Verse 16 says, for their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed blood, for in vain the net is spread in the sight of any that possess a wing. But they lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside, and she raises her voice in the broad places. At the head of the noisy street she cries out, and at the opening of the gates. In the city she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, would you love simplicity? And shall scoffers delight in their scoffing, and fools hate knowledge? Turn at my reproof. See, I pour out my spirit on you. I make my words known to you, because I called, and you refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no one inclined. And you spurned all my counsel, and would not yield to my reproof. Let me also laugh at your calamity. Mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm, and your calamity comes like a whirlwind. when distress and anguish come upon you. Let them then call on me, but I'll answer not. Let them seek me, but not find me, because they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They did not accept my counsel, and they despised my reproof. Therefore let them eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own counsels. For the turning away of simple kills them, and the complacency of fools destroy them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely, and it is at ease from the dread of evil. A whole lot of wisdom in that one for us to look at and evaluate our lives today compared to what's going on around us. Matityahu, chapter 16, Matthew 16. Now Jesus had done fed the 5,000 men, equating to approximately 15,000 people. In chapter 15, it kind of continues on in chapter 16. And the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and trying him, asked that he would show them a sign from heaven. And answering, he said to them, when it is evening, you say fair weather, for the heaven is red. And the morning, stormy weather today, for the heaven is red and overcast. You know how to discern the face of heaven, but you are unable to discern the sign of times. A wicked and adulterous generation seek after a sign, and no sign shall be given it except for the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and went away. And his taught ones came to the other side and had forgotten to take bread. And Yeshua said to them, mind and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, because we forgot the bread. But Yahweh, aware of this, said to them, O ye of little belief, why do you reason among yourselves, because you brought no bread? Do you still not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves and 5,000, and how many baskets you picked up? Or the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many large baskets you picked up? How is it that you do not understand that I do not speak concerning bread? But beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Then they understood that he did not say, beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. This is exactly what we've got to guard ourselves against today, these false teachings that are going around. Verse 13, now when Shua came into the parts of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his taught ones, saying, who do men say the son of Adam is? And they said, some say Johanan, the immerser, others Eliyahu, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He said to them, and you, who do you say I am? And Simon Peter answered, saying, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living Elohim. And Yeshua answered and said to him, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father which is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Kepha, and on this rock I shall build my assembly, and the gates of Sheol shall not overcome it. And I shall give you the keys of the reign of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be heaven bound in the heavens, and whatever you loose on earth shall have been loosed in heaven. Then he warned his taught ones that they should say to no one that he is Yeshua the Messiah. For that time Yeshua began to show to his taught ones that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem and to suffer much from the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised up again the 3rd day. And Kepha took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, be kind to yourself, master. This shall not be to you. And he turned and said to Peter, get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block for me, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men. Then Yeshua said to his taught ones, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profit if he gain the whole world, yet lose his own life? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Adam is going to come in the glory of his Father and his messengers, and then he shall reward each according to his works. Truly I say to you, there are some standing here that shall not taste death, at all until they see the Son of Man coming in his reign. um, I've heard verse 19 quoted over and over and over again over the last couple of weeks. Beware that you not take that out of context. Beware that you go read that and understand that before you go foolishly claiming that we can bind the devil, we can bind this coronavirus. Um, because if that's the case, somebody's running around loosening it. And I'll leave it at that. But y'all think about that. Don't be misled by what the scriptures are saying right there. Um, I may do a video on that here in a little while because it's quite frustrating to see it. Some of these big TBN pastors are really, really, really pushing that one. Um, there's a whole lot in that one. Of course, there are in all of them. I wished I could just make videos all day long teaching what a lot of that means, and there's still some of it that I'm still searching out myself. So, but I try to make videos according to what the Spirit leads me to do. Y'all just keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what's going on around us. Let us discern the times as well as discern the red flags that our government's speaking right now. Uh, I'm not sure everything is what it seems to be at this point in time. So with that said, y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and always be frustrated. I will I will do my best to get the hanging of the prophets out here in just a little bit. We'll catch you on the next reading.